Welcome to TYT Interviews. We got another great interview with another former Baltimore police officer now, Joe Crystal. He's also been in the news, and there was a famous situation where he was actually a good cop and turning people who were doing things wrong in the police department, and obviously that got him in a world of trouble. Now, that's back when he was in Baltimore. He's no longer in Baltimore because of that, and he joins us from Florida right now. Joe, welcome to the Young Turks.
Thank you so much for having me. So I'm really honored to be on your show. The reason people are mad at me is because, VSID, which was the name of the unit at the time, and OCD, which was the name before it was called VSID, was blood in and blood out. And that's why people were upset with me. And, when he said that, it was like, I felt like I was on an episode of Gangland, Like I couldn't believe, like, this is our union president and this is the terminology he's throwing at me, and we're cops.
Yeah, blood in, blood out, right? And I mean, and then you got, that's exactly what gangs say. You got Bloods and the Crips here in LA, right? And one is red and one is blue. And in this case, you got the boys in blue, okay? And they got their colors, and then if somebody, reports anything, snitch. I mean, the guy that Suge Knight ran over in LA with his car, nearly killed him, killed the other guy, but they don't want to snitch, right? And it's the same terminology. Don't snitch. Don't be a rat. It's amazing. It's amazing. So now when people say, hey, there's just a few bad apples and that the critics are overstating the case, doesn't your case show, Joe, that it's not really a few bad apples? It's actually a culture of corruption, at least in terms of covering for each other.
I could see you saying the majority. And I mean, you hear of all the stuff going on in Baltimore. I mean, that's a police department that's in turmoil and in horrible need of, reform and leadership. But I'll say this, I work now at a smaller department, and I haven't had any of those issues. Everybody's aware of it, from, my sheriff to my sergeant to the people I work with, and nobody has an issue with it, where I'm at. And, so I don't think it's all departments. I think that the departments that, the people that would have those issues with it are the departments that are going to breed corruption, that aren't looking to reform and weed out the bad cops and stuff like that. I think those are the departments and the people that are going to have real issue with it. The people that have real issues with it are the people that have those bad reputations, that have crazy nicknames on the street with people.
I mean, I'd love to talk to, and I'm sure I will at some point, talk to suburban cops. Because my guess is suburban cops aren't told it's you versus them, go arrest everybody, you're the wall, right? No, I'm sure that they're taught, like, if there's outsiders or there's this, there's that, make sure you regulate, but they're not seeing the community as the enemy. They're not. I'd be surprised if they saw, and especially in a well-to-do suburb in Connecticut or something, they're not going to be seen as an occupying force. They're going to be seen as a protecting force of that community. Whereas in Baltimore and other places like that, and it's not just Baltimore, it's all across the country, in inner cities, I don't get the sense that cops are taught you're here to protect this community as opposed to go out and arrest them and occupy them.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I mean, I work in a small department now, and it's not the us versus them mentality here. It's about, community police. And I know one thing that was kind of new to me when I came here, they told me, we're about, I think the word they used was customer service policing. And when I heard that, it was like foreign to me. It was like, oh, I never even heard of that. But you learn and you move on, and that kind of just backs up what you were just talking about.
Yeah, let's keep it real. Mainly white, well-to-do communities, we're doing customer service, right? In inner cities, we're occupying. So that's just the reality of life, and that's part of why we have these conversations so we can get to a better place, right? So we can learn from it.
I agree 100%. I think one of the major things and driving forces in it too is, like, for example, again, I always go back to Baltimore because I talk about my, if I'm going to talk, I want to talk about my experience and what I have some knowledge base in. And, like you take Baltimore, for example, they're up to 211 homicides on the year already. 211, and last week they had I think it was like two 17-year-olds and a 19-year-old that were shot and murdered. So I think when you're in an area like that where you have that much violence and that much stuff going on, you have to try something. And if you're doing A and that's not working, you have to be able to adapt and go to option B. And I definitely think that the community policing is something that you know you can use and can work on.
See, Joe, that's exactly what I'd be thinking, right? So right-wingers look at that and say, okay, well, then you see that we had all that violence, black on black crime, so we should arrest them more. But wait a minute, we already arrest them at unbelievable rates. Apparently that didn't work, right? It didn't keep the crime down. And part of the reason, my guess as to why it doesn't work is because if you were doing real policing, you would have people in the community who would help you because their son got shot or their friend got shot. But none of the people in the community trust the cops, so you never solve any, not never, but you have a harder time solving the cases, which then encourages people to do more shootings because they think they're going to get away with it, and they're probably right.
Well, I mean, you take that and, I mean, take a look at what happened with me. I mean, everybody knows it. I can't tell you how many Facebook messages and stuff like that I get from people from Baltimore telling me they wish I'd come back. And one of the things that, you know, look at my situation, everybody knows what happened to me. Now, do you expect somebody that just witnessed a homicide to come forward in Baltimore City and say, hey, I just saw this guy shoot this 17-year-old kid, you know, I want to come forward, I want to testify, when you have a department that treated one of its own, you know, like you would see on TV, like you'd see on The Wire, for reporting one of their officers assaulting a citizen. I know in the article, the story you did about me when I was supposed to receive an award, and the Huffington Post, you know, came with me, and I was supposed to receive an award, and I was ultimately shunned and not allowed to receive my award like they told me to. Mm-hmm. One of the things I noticed, and I kind of was thinking about this the other day, is most of the people that were getting awards, it was for situations that involved uses of force, tasing, shooting somebody, stuff like that. And I thought to myself, I said, I wonder when the last time a cop was given an award at a ceremony like this for reporting actual police corruption and bettering the department that way. And I think that goes along what you're saying about culture and things like that.
Yeah, and it's a matter of what you emphasize. It's a matter of what you reward and what you punish, right? So you did the right thing. You reported a crime that you saw. It happened to involve officers. You were punished, right? We don't report other officers. We don't. And what does that lead to? That leads to a culture of corruption. It's obvious.